Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to this video on the Aquarius full moon, as well as a deep dive into the energies as we move through August. Interestingly, this Aquarius full moon, if we look at it in isolation, which we're never going to stop there in these videos, but if we look at it in isolation, it's actually not making significant aspects with the other planets. But if we look at the ruler of the full moon, Uranus, it is up to big things. So there is a lot of action that is surrounding this full moon that is very much part of the storyline that's unfolding right now. It's happening in the lionsgate, which is a time where manifestations are accelerated and we really connect into these higher realms of consciousness, deepening the connection with our spirit team, our highest self. And even this Lionsgate is landing very differently than others. Like we are experiencing time differently right now. And I think many of us are awakening to a deeper understanding of the choice points that are existing for us, not only moment to moment, but on a larger scale right now. Really questioning, where is my soul calling me? Am I showing up and creating the impact on this planet that I know I am here to make, which is very Aquarian? It's not just about us, it's about the ripple effects of our actions, the legacy we leave, about really being that visionary, seeing beyond what's currently happening and not just reacting to it, but having this ability to envision a more harmonious world, the newer template, and not only hold the vision, but be an active part of creating it. So I want to take a moment to pause here for anyone that's new. Say hi below. We've had some beautiful new subscribers join, and I would really love to get to know you. So, question for all of you, whether you've been on this journey with me a while or you're new to this space, I would love to hear your big three. In astrology, this is your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising. So share that below. And I think it would be fun along with that if you shared how you are experiencing this full moon or just the cosmic energies as we move into August. And it'd be kind of cool for us all to like look over it and see, okay, these are the energies, and this is how the person is experiencing it. Because even though there is some overarching themes, which we're going to, of course, dive into, these cosmic shifts are also interacting with our birth chart uniquely. So we're all part of this ascension that's happening right now at a rapid speed on the planet. And then we're also here navigating our individual personal journeys and making new decisions. And really, I think we're really thinking about that future version of ourself, who she is, and the decisions we have to make today in order to walk out that timeline instead of just repeating patterns of the past. So I'm going to share my screen so we can dive in here. If you're watching on the podcast, Born for the Stars, I'm going to link the video below because you may want to see the visual. I know I've shared this before, but so many people continue to reach out and just say they've learned so much by how I explain the chart and just seeing that visual. So feel free to hop over if you're called to, but you can also listen in on the podcast, whatever aligns most for you. So let's begin by understanding this Aquarian archetype. We're going to hone in on this full moon and then we're going to build from there the larger themes that I really see emerging around this full moon. And you can, whether or not you read astrology, you can look at this chart and see there's a lot going on here. So Aquarius is the archetype of the visionary. It also has a very rebellious side, rebellious in the sense of not being afraid to speak out against the status quo and awaken people to a new possibility, especially in the highest octave expression. In the lower octaves, it can actually become quite cynical or judgmental. The highest expression is like, hey, this isn't about me, this is about us. Where are we evolving? Where are we going? And what's my role within that? And that requires a certain element of really being in your power as well to understand that you are not here by accident and that your actions, your decisions really matter. And the more that we own that, like individually, the more we do create change. And we're not just complaining about what we see happening in the world, but we're awake to, oh, I am part of creating this. What do I want to see? What do I envision? And these are the beautiful light workers I love to work with. We're not reacting, we're the creators. We're building the new template. We're in our power. So, opposite the moon is the sun in the sign of Leo, which of course makes it a full moon, is that opposition. We also currently have Mercury retrograding in Leo. So, Leo Aquarius axes. So Leo's all about, let me step up and shine. What are the gifts God gave me to share with this planet? How does infinite intelligence uniquely want to be expressed through me? We're in this lionsgate portal working up to the peak on August 8th. So we're already in these energies, but it peaks on August the 8th. And this year, the Lionsgate is manifesting very differently. Like there is this acceleration of time that's happening, a deeper connection and understanding that, oh, okay, like I'm never alone on this journey. I can tap into my angels and the ascendant masters and divine guides. I am not alone. And we're calibrating to like a new consciousness. And the consciousness determines how we operate. It'll determine the decisions that we make, the lens in which we see the world through, how we limit ourselves or how we create expansion. So I'm hosting a something really special for Lionsgate. I'm going to pop that in the comments before I forget in the show notes on the podcast or below the video here if you're listening on YouTube. So 3 downloads. I'm sharing 3 separate audios that are released on August the 8th, the peak of the Lionsgate, which is really a frequency upgrade, a frequency shift. It's called Codes of the Throne. So we're really working with this queen energy of coming back to letting yourself be visible, letting yourself be in your power, really getting clarity. And not only clarity, but like you're anchored in, you know, you are here to create a difference. Your work is here to be known. Your healing gifts are here to be experienced. And the Leo energy is where we claim that. We're not shying away from the spotlight. We're not feeling guilty for being seen, for fear that we are being too much. We're just owning who we are with a big nod to the Aquarius energy. In doing that, we're creating shifts on the planet because there's this awareness that it's always been more than just about us and our journey. It's always been about what we are contributing and how we are making a difference to other people's lives and the overall frequency and life experience on the planet. So I would love to have you join me for that. I would love to have you access these audios and just experience like the beautiful change that happens in your life when you are owning like that queen energy and you're in your power, you're sharing your gifts. Like that is a gift to the planet when you allow yourself to be in your authentic expression and really shine brightly. So the Mercury retrograde that's happening here is opposing Pluto. Oh my goodness. So retrogrades, we're in retrograde season with Neptune and Saturn retrograding as well, Pluto retrograding, a lot of that retrograde energy. So Mercury retrograde, what happens is we're often revisiting old conversations, revisiting decisions, but through a new lens. And Mercury opposing Pluto, Pluto gives us insight into our subconscious. With Pluto, we often hear the term underworld, which is basically like our subconscious mind. And with that opposition to Mercury, it's giving us the ability to see more deeply into the patterns that are at play in our life. So for many people, it can be this experience of like, oh my goodness, I'm waking up from a fog or like a spell I've been under and I'm seeing things more clearly. And that's not always what we hear with retrogrades. I feel like it could be confusing and it can manifest as confusing if we're too in our mind and our logic and we're not operating from our intuition, from our highest self, from our inner truth. But Pluto here is helping to illuminate that. Now, other ways this can play out is like, our words can be used to uplift or to really bring people down. So we do want to be aware of like manipulation tactics, the information we're receiving, like misinformation is not what it seems. We've got to take a closer look at it. We have to question it. But that's a good place to be for us. We want to be questioning the information that we are being fed. And we want to be aware of the conversations we are engaging in and how we show up in those conversations. And not in a place of, I need to change this person's mind, but more in our self-expression and also seeking to understand as well is really powerful, right? Building that rapport, that understanding. I feel like that's a big thing right now, and that may not always be happening, and maybe more explosive conversations or just wanting to get our point across, and ultimately that just doesn't bring about change. So we have to ask, what's the outcome I want? Do I want to deepen connection? Do I want to create change? Then first we have to really seek to hear and understand and build that rapport, and then from there we can go somewhere beautiful. It facilitates that sense of unity. So, the ruler of this full moon is Uranus, recently moved into Gemini. And this is where discussions really come in around AI and how it can actually support our evolution. I see a lot of posts happening on social right now that are so focused on, I can tell when someone's using AI, or how do I pinpoint it, or if there's a dash in the content, I can tell it's AI and I'm turned off. And I just think, looking at the astrology here, there's a lot of potential for how AI can be a part of our future. And when we use it with intention, it can actually support where we are going. But we can't get into the pettiness around it or recreating what we already have. It's meant to bring us somewhere new. Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius. I've been tracking these transits for years and knowing like there's gonna be huge shifts with AI when Uranus moves into Gemini and it begins to create this trine with Pluto. Trine being a harmonious flow of energy, both in signs that want to create advancement, that want to create something new. Now, there's other ways here that this can be interpreted as well. This is really about collectively awakening to new possibilities for this world, operating just on a new frequency and energy, which is not just like fluff words. That changes everything. It changes how abundance is distributed on the planet. It changes how we can relate to one another and opens this possibility of living in more harmony and more unity and all of us prospering. It's like we have to raise our consciousness and energy to even be able to create that. So Uranus here, see how it's part of this triangle, which is known as a grand trine, and it's activating all air signs, new ideas, new potential, divine ideas and downloads and frequency shifts. So there's a lot happening here. So Uranus is activating Mars, recently moved into Libra, which also brings in this element of connection and relationships, trining Pluto in Aquarius. So this is a really powerful grand trine that actually turns into a kite formation when we bring in Neptune and Saturn here. So huge changes that will also require, how I read this Mars in Libra, disentangling from other people's opinions and viewpoints when they're not helpful for where you are going and what you know to be true. Because there can be something here around being very aware of how other people may respond to the decisions you're making or your actions. And we're always responsible for showing up in ways that feel good and authentic and in alignment and moral, but we can't control how people are ultimately going to respond to that. So I'm getting the sense that maybe that is interfering with some of the decisions or changes or moves you're making in your life right now. If you're getting too entangled in how others may respond to you, you got to, let that go. Neptune and Saturn, both retrograde, conjunct at exactly 1 degrees in Aries. This is the new timeline that we are entering. Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, seeing this meetup between completely different archetypal energies. Saturn is all about structure and discipline, and it really relates to like our day to day, or not even day to day, sorry, but our human experience on this planet. Our human experience on this planet. And this is why tough Saturn transits can also very much be linked to challenging decisions in our life or challenging times in our life, because it really wants us to step up and be mature, and it can bring about lasting change. But part of that can be, how do we navigate the challenge? And then if we look at Neptune here, Neptune is about who we actually are on a soul level. It connects us into our highest self. So it's sometimes associated with dreams and illusion. But I think what's happening now in Neptune and Aries is we're actually waking up to our true nature. That's a change in and of itself, as more people operate from their highest self instead of the patterns and the programs that we take on around who we are, what is possible for us. We know the drill. We all have these. What we think we can create, it forms our identity, it forms our self-image. And then we see that collectively too in terms of how we operate as a planet, what's possible for us and all those things. So that is drastically changing right now. Like hugely. There's no stopping it. This energy in our life where some things just feel destined. I've been having a lot of conversations with clients on this lately. It's like, it feels like destiny, like we couldn't stop ourselves from meeting that person. Or many people have this feeling like with their children, like, oh, you were always meant to be here. Like when they give birth, just this recognition of, oh, this is what it was meant to be. Or we can have this with a partner, people that we meet, or just certain big turning points or experiences in our life, like that destiny. And what that often is like our soul had that planned, our higher self had that plan, and there was so much energy behind it that it felt really hard for our human self to choose something different. So we have that as a collective as well, with really big events that happen, whether through like our weather or war. It's, certain things almost feel like, wow, like there was just so much energy behind it. And that's where it's helpful to zoom out and see the larger picture as well. So Neptune and Saturn are going to retrograde soon. And this is where this energy, so they're going to move back into Pisces. And this is where we wrap up a lot. So 2025 overall is giving us like this preview of more concrete or permanent energies that we'll be revisiting in 2026. So how this plays out in your own life is you may be in this in between of like releasing the old version of you, perhaps how you showed up like in your business, the offers you launched, how you launched it. This, you can apply this to any area of your life, right? That old version of you and the new version of you that is emerging, that you're still getting to know. So it's a really, it's such an exciting time, but there's a lot of energy. And speaking of excitement, I really want to look at this transit here of Venus and Jupiter. So this will be exact after the full moon. So it's not exact at the time of the full moon, but we're still feeling the energy. I love this meetup. Venus and Jupiter is such like a magnetic energy of blessings, of miracles. And I really invite you to affirm that you are a miracle. I've talked about this before, of like, it's not like we just experience miracles. You being here is a miracle. And then the message I was receiving from the records as I prepared for this video today that was coming in this morning is, I am a miracle. So of course I attract miracles wherever I go. We attract who we are, who we're being. You are a miracle. So, of course, you would attract miracles. Of course, you would attract blessings. And Jupiter's all about that energy of expansion, good luck, good fortune, abundance. And Venus is like the goddess of love and beauty, bringing us home to our heart, meeting up in Cancer. There's so much love here and nourishment that we can tap into wherever this is happening in your birth chart. So it's going to be at 14 degrees of Cancer if you know what house that's falling in. This could be the area where you experience that good fortune, that abundance, or just that feeling of, wait a second, all is really well here. I got caught up in the fear and the drama for a bit, but now I'm remembering that all is well. And it's just that feeling, right? Of like, all is well, where we soften, we relax, we allow in the blessings. And, I feel like anyone listening to this gets it, but maybe there's a part of you, or if you're thinking like, how do I relax? There's so much going on, or like, how can you say that when there's so much happening in the world? And the thing is, we're not useful to anybody when we're operating in survival mode and when we're operating in panic. We don't think clearly from that space. We don't take aligned action in that space. We lash out and recreate patterns and division from that space. So the more that we can be grounded, connected to our truth, attuned to blessings and miracles and our power, that's when true change can happen. That's when clarity sets in. That's when new ideas drop in. So that is a really beneficial aspect that we're going to begin to feel again days after the full moon, but for the rest of August. And already, even at this full moon, I mean, they're 3 degrees apart. We're feeling that energy. All right, that is our full moon in Aquarius chart. Once again, I want to put the invite out there to join me in Codes of the Throne, receiving these Lionsgate audio drops to really upgrade your frequency. This is not just information. I'll be guiding you into the records. This is a full-on frequency shift, playing with the archetypal energy of Leo, which is being in our power, letting our light shine, being known for our work, which is not from ego of I need the validation, but because we know we have something valuable to offer this planet and we need to be seen, we need to be visible in order for that to happen. And then the Aquarian archetypal energy is how am I of service to the collective? And I can only do that when I am fully grounded in my truth and I'm not downplaying who I am, not afraid to shine. I'm not afraid of upsetting other people. We can only create that change when we are fully owning our magic and our beauty. So I hope to see you there. Enjoy this full moon energy. Comment below how you're feeling, any questions, anything you're wanting deeper insight on, share it below. I love checking in. I love getting to know you better. So I'm sending you all so much love and I will see you soon. Bye for now.